Hello friends, and welcome to a very quiet start of playing tribute to The Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where we are on the second episode, The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. We are on the saving screen because I figured I'd jump right back into it because it was a short one last time. So for me, it's immediate. For you guys, you've been waiting a little bit. So, last time we avoided a ship, I guess, on the water. Everything got all out of whack in the room. We happened to be in Miss Pavlova's room, so probably going to be in trouble. The inspector's outside the door, waiting for us. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's labeled correctly now. Didn't it always say cabin number 2 or whatever? Yeah. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath and gently slid back the bolt. We're in trouble.
You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters?
Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship? Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we've made an emergency stop.
Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Crew are running everywhere.
This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? Oh, you wicked intruder, dressed in all black. You are the devil.
Sorry, me?
I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes. Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. It is not enough that he has killed a man.
Da, and he is stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe?
Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else.
Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil.
It doesn't look good, does it?
There's a cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police.
Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. It's a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. What am I supposed to examine? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? What the? What are you doing up there? Oh, why are you wearing that? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't a mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. It's you again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than the hook on the wall next time.
What is the report? Speak!
An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on the vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved. By me, naturally. Really? Yes, I've eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case.
Ha! You have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It's the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it.
I didn't do it! The trouble is there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Da! Locked room! That's a point!
The room was locked.
Well, I can't deny that.
There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? I've never discovered one. Why, gate's open mounted to use even as we speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator?
You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole.
That's because your arms are as thick as a tree trunk. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening. It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is the speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Are we doing some deduction dancing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold! What the? Oh, look. A snake. I mean, I wouldn't really call him speckled. More like striped. Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The speckled band. A snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, the snake, it isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? I'm glad you're on the same page as me, Ryunosuke. Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe, with distinction, however. Do you not think that's precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How, exactly? I think perhaps it's time to explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I've drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asoki? Are you saying words? It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I'm okay with that. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. The game is afoot. Alright, we know how this goes. He has to go through his whole spiel before we correct him. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot see for yourself. Yes, when you recall these horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Looks to me like she was looking at her hand, but carry on. And it's that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded the vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. Jeez, he's so close. The victim's written observations of the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. It has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to that quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's slough skin. Evidently, after a subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly fiend of yours shed his original skin. No? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you think he has different patterns on his skin? Last night, with the ventilator visible in the cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord to another side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there are no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. There's no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You had the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. It was probably the trash can again. I've been wanting to look in that trash can and actually seeing the paperwork in there. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It's telling that the victim made note of the low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. To train? To train him to kill him? To train him to kill? Indeed, you put the serpent through this ventilator and waits. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny that the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in at once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt, my logic is infallible. You need your partner, man. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Also, I'm not entirely sure that's a venomous snake. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Ah, see, it is a saucer of milk. It's totally a cat. Incredible. You've solved the mystery. Really? You're taking that? Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Sherlock Holmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Holmes? But of course. What's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it'll be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there's something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling. But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There's one other thing. You have more? Tear him down, Susato. Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Then it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. You're so defeated. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not. I shall see that they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Again, skipping through the things that have already been said. Alright, she's looking at her hand. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is it? Is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression, then? Just take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Power of observation. Oh, hey, look, there's scratches. Okay, I'm getting used to how this is going. Alright, so you can't see it here, but you see it on the other side. There is a cat. I was right. But not because I remembered it. I was just picturing bells and milk on the floor. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound. Looks like it's a scratch made by some kind of small animal. And fairly recently too. But whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Okay, but I am presenting the claw scratch.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, the claw scratch is marks of pain. Indeed, and simply observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I'm sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on the portentous night? Oh, we've done this already. Friend which you board the vessel, and she's gonna look over somewhere. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Lava's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet in which claws must grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What is the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruto-san. That's where we'll find the answer. Where are you, little kitty? I'm sure you're somewhere. Oh, photograph? Aww, he's so cute. And look, there is a little bell around his neck. Ha, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we better take a closer look at this. Yes! Kitten! Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes! The scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observation the night in question is that of a speckled band, whereas regrettably... the specimen's markings do not fit the description. It's not the snakeskin. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Oh yes, boys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. His ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that it was a ploy too. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that this is the skin of the snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? It's a cat toy. Well, it is speckled and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. It's sort of common in the West, apparently. How's that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. Huh. It sounds positively adorable. And correction made. Yes! Because sometimes that's what needs to be done, and you have to investigate it to actually get the correction. Yes, the thing you're trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume? Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. Why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is the blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. Maybe that's for the bell later. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty. Moving on. We came to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data in which I've been apprised, I did this again. Oh, I don't have to read it. What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. That's right, but Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. I love how he, like, pokes in the dance with his face. Like, hold on a second there. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact... we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm the scene of the crime. At the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Presumably Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. Could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe the Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix the deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Specifically for a fall? Yeah. The shoe polish thing.
Yes!
It slipped. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish. Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish in the perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Sogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against an immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instance, he lost his life. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Sogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. I don't believe it. Cousin Usama nearly tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. I hate this case so much. And if this part of Mr. Shulman's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Trash can. Trash can! It's gotta be. One of these times. It's a waste paper basket. Perhaps all of them have it. Started occupying late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, what's that? That wasn't there before. It's a broken piece of glass. Yes, it is. I feel like I've seen somewhere before. It's familiar. Perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
That's right. You hid evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that the part of the glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. And that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova to the little glass bell. That would be... It's over here.
Yes!
It is for the bell that we kept there. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble your absent feline friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Death by tripping over a cat. I hate this. Elementary. Nonetheless. Accidental death is not the greatest solution to this, let me tell you. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired a rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes, and I had read the rules on the wall. I knew I was not allowed to have Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try and lure the kitten back again by dangling the end of this toy through the ventilator into the adjoining cabin. Darka always loved this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Kazuma wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Kazumo was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Buria is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. Yet Mr. Asogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet. The combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. But Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case. And that just disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself, at least. When I woke this morning, I heard a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it and where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board the ship? I think I've figured out whose friend it is. Oh, I didn't say? Snake is my friend. His name is Piroshko. Sure. What? What? That snake belongs to you. He escaped his cage when the emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We were on sea for 1 year! You wouldn't be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Can't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom.
Piroshko does not have venom. Piroshko. Whatever. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He's adorable, like Granny.
It's venomless.
Yes, now he hungry. But he in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him.
Oh, and you feed him what? Milk, I suppose?
Ha! Like they say the milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes don't drink milk, only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big fat round mouses.
So, is that what the mousetrap in the passageway is out there for?
Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food?
Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. Hold on, Sholmes is having a moment. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord. And it's not even venomous.
How the deuce did something so inept land in a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Piroshko is nothing to do with this incident.
So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. The ink. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh? I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Not again. When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Okay, I think it's the Russian word that he wants us to figure out. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in the cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident, or was it in fact no accident at all? This is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Hold it!
Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. Spell it out, you say? There's a clear contradiction between the facts in Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. Would it be... yes.
Yes!
Yes! The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That script? It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It's a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? He would have died right away. Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. At least he didn't suffer. Which means after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. It's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So, Susato-san has noticed it too, then. Putting the message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words... Wait a second. It's not the diary. Wait a second. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. No, the time lines up. Something besides the writing?
Yes!
Because I still say it's the writing. I don't know what point I'm trying to make. How his death really happened. Help me out here. Then what should we be looking for is one of two things. The absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of an accident, or the presence of something you wouldn't. I'm not very confident either. It's a clear contradiction. Putting the message on the floor aside. There's something else that gives the truth away. I don't see how it can be... It's not this one. Because the timing lines up. Is it the mark on the floor? We've already used it, though. Two-point game.
Yes!
Piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. If that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck, we already know about that. It's broken in half when the victim tripped over the car and fell, so we already have a satisfactory explanation. There's no flaw in that logic. What? That's really what happened. And how did one half the bell end up back here in the cabin? Because whenever she got the cat back, it was still wearing it? Remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in the wastepaper basket. Would you care to explain that? I thought that the cat was just wearing it when he came back. Or when she came back. Both of these pictures of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. When Mr. Sogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth. In order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr.
Hold
Sogi's.
it! You are wasting time. Someone else was there. Duh, of course, we know this.
What are you talking about?
Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in and around.
Oh, yes.
And only one other person in cabin when young student died was you. Yes!
It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message. To be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor. For fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Sogi really died. But didn't pick up all the... Yeah, that's my concern here. But why wouldn't the person take away all the pieces of the bell? Because I thought that it was that the cat carried it off. Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. A single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder, then, that the culprit failed to notice the fragment of the tiny item. So, why not pretend it was an accident, then? Why write the words in Russian and all that stuff? Because, like, everything else, the mark, the slip on the bell, whatever, that would have... Anyway, you all suspect me, don't you?
Hold it!
Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is woman... I don't know what I was doing with his voice there.
Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on the ship, member of ship's band. Do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal.
So that's it.
You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that not possible. I give my tooth.
Well, it's almost interesting. And why wouldn't you give your tooth, Fred? How can you be so sure?
You are a great detective, you should know. Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go to cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yet, it's impossible.
He's right. Come on, we know. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around the door latches so that they can open and close them from the outside.
Fred, are you stupid? These bulkheads not up arm doors.
Yep, we've already determined that. Certainly not. These are watertight doors as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, not a gap in sight. No threads, needles, or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... Sato-san, how could you shift it into me like that? So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily.
What?
I put it to you that I can bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, you can see the traces of the method I have in mind, having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. I'm surprised it took this long for us to get to this point.
Yes!
Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe... Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia, acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book, at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over these books in the bookcase also made something else in the cabin move. The bolt in the cabin door. Ah. It's very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. Then... Oh, yes! That's it! When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed.
Or the force of ineption, or if you want to call it that.
Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sarasogi was killed?
I mean, everything else was spilled over. The SS Buria made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over.
Oh, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I?
That's when we came into this cabin, when we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asogi's cabin.
Oh my!
Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Buria made emergency stop?
It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room.
Oh, it's simple enough.
Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside?
Used to trigger the emergency alarm.
Oh, yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency.
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewmen to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Sholmes, did you... Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen, in the interests of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop.
As indeed it did a little earlier today.
Sholmes. What did you do? Did you press the button?
Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who...
Is he gonna start laughing again? As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let's not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Did he do it on purpose to learn this fact? Anyway, it's like he's weird. He's very weird and quirky and crazy. But then he has these like bits of brilliance that's like, wait, is he just playing the fool? Or is he actually an idiot?
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night after what happened to Mr. Asogi, did this ship make an emergency stop or did it not?
You are idiots. Buria is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop even in the middle of the night, there'd be chaos everywhere.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea.
Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? The ship's log.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? Da, that is correct. Why? Ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine!
Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop a little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there.
But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. Yeah, sure, responsible passengers. That was our reasoning. I left it there on purpose. That's where I put it always.
Oh, geez, so sorry. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log.
That is... dumb, because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Beria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish.
If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anyone would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. What of throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We've all suffered with it. Oh, yes. I have a headache. You're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. That's right, my head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up while all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruto. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway classes of accommodation don't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Oh, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, and in fact, I had all of it. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific. Soporific? Designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. Soporific. A sleeping drug. Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so that no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruto, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception on this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there will have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Please, no more. I will tell everything.
Eh?
I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
We all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw away everything. Her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel.
I don't believe it.
You are right. You put sleeping drug in chicken last night.
Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point.
Duh, we could not make all drug. How do you say? Dissolve.
Ugh, talk about heavy seasoning.
At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. While all the passengers of SS Burroughs slept soundly.
Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who just like chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of the single cabin door in the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning.
You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point?
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am a sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes.
A laudable trait.
What?
I'm in quite the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Listener Arhoda? Yes? Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction.
What are you talking about?
believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators. Observation. If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death? What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Oh. Hey, look, ink. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. Looks like ink if I'm not mistaken. Ink. Look at the color. It's clear where it came from.
Yes!
How dare you call me a murderer when you covered up something else? Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Ah, yes, I am. I don't know where the dirt comes from. So, nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain? What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your intentions. Allow us to make it plain. Oh, my goodness. A very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. And I think what it made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is...
Yes!
We've used this picture so many times. Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink shows. And the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. Ah, the penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin, in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me, I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like a wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed button to make Burya do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to the cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw Student Boy on the floor. What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell in. Oh wait, that's me. Was that all me? I thought he was explaining himself. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell on the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers. Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor.
She said she was worried when she heard sound of someone falling on floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside.
I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Da. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand. And I believe you.
So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Ah! Something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. This photograph? Yes, I took this myself, you know. Mm-hmm. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate accident that precipitated these events, a kitten, on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural. What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? There is something that I was looking at that I was wondering about. Well... If Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? Well, I mean, obviously this whole thing is stupid, but we've discovered that the writing was from the sailor. However, this hand is in a fist. And I've been looking at this that entire time, and I'm like, why is this hand in a fist? It looks like he's holding on to something. Could he possibly be holding something? So, let's find out, shall we?
Yes!
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. See, that's what I was wondering. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is
tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle, that he was having since the very beginning when we saw his body, and could have saved all of this trouble and turmoil if we just saw what he was holding in his hand. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. I can't control this thing. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells. What's that? There's something dangling down from her ear. That's an earring. Wait, look. It's a crescent moon. Be no doubt now, surely. Now, I want to make sure that the game isn't being stupid and making me and saying that it actually wants me to do this. Just blah blah blah. Touched your ear. Tiny part of it was missing, maybe it broke off. If that's the case, she doesn't appear to have noticed it's broken. Where did the crescent moon come from? Her right ear.
Yes!
Not her left ear, his left ear has it. Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding onto it must have broken, I suppose. Yeah, what? But looking at your other ear, I noticed a crescent moon.
I don't believe it.
Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Sogi must have grasped the crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night at Mr. Sogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Sogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? No.
Angel?
No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy. But nothing worked. Darka would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin.
Just a moment. Sorry, but...
Yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina?
Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on the ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to call the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff."
If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go.
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes. I went into the cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway. In wardrobe. Still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me.
So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed wardrobe doors and put back on a strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body in good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote so the person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway.
And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Burrow did indeed come to an emergency halt a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland, and it's because you were worried that he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes.
But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem?
was what he said first that made me scared.
But he said first?
He said an inspector was his friend.
Yes, meaning me. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard.
I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before you could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain. But he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make. Another deduction?
Yes. What action was this victim really about to take at that moment?
Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed?
First, considering the victim's location within his cabin.
That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. My cabin has been my home for the entire voyage.
So this is how the cabin looked last night, when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama?
Yes, that's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. If there's one thing I learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out even by a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? So this is what she thinks that he was looking at. But I think his second opinion was supposed to be Naruhodo. My wardrobe. I was there at the time, of course, sleeping soundly. Too soundly. Only I hadn't eaten that chicken that was laced with a sleeping drug. Especially the big chunk of it. If only he'd woken me up. Maybe this tragedy would never have happened.
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what was directly just beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Miss Pavlova, please think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night?
The other opinion.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew.
No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter.
To see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh, no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you'd made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. the most depressing case. This case, I hate it. Because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to this girl being scared and killing him for a misunderstanding. No maliciousness, nothing, like no reason. It was like a meaningless death, pretty much. Like what? Miss Pavlova? I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done? And Kazuma's sad theme playing. And so at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. I'm glad you got your glasses repaired, dude. Even if she wanted to return to her in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our Angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. I will go with you now. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste. Yep. But... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes. I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun, then. To think that only days ago Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. Seems like a distant memory now. No, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Susato-san? Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Susato-san. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth, that it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. Is this Hosonaga again? Or is there something I could say? Yeah. Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down, and I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now. Huh? Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo. What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry. So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway, after all. He thinks this is funny. Mr. Sholmes, we do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened.
Wait a minute. It's just me who has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway.
The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant.
Was to be?
In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
Oh no. I don't care for me, but...
Poor Susato-san.
My dear fellows, the majority of the problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue shortly.
But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but
anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
Yes.
Miss Susato?
Yes?
Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, unless... Are you studying law?
No, I'm not, but...
I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work.
But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must be to become a lawyer of Great Britain.
Mr. Naruhodo,
that's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate.
But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and then he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Mr. Sato? I think it's a wonderful idea.
I think that's the softest and nicest expression she's ever given me.
Thank you.
So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say?
Are you serious?
One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. Oh, no, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree?
Fascinating.
Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination.
Speak for yourself.
Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character. No? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion and despite the accusations of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and, above all, courage. Stand a little taller.
Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice.
Inspector,
After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here.
oh, thank you, Inspector.
If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruto?
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take the charge of this.
What? Me? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. His name is Karuma. It's a great sword. It's been in the Sogi clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always.
So then, Mr. Sato? Seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet.
It'll be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom.
We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need.
But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too.
Goodness, what is it?
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. I should never have doubted you. You are Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No, you were in shock.
you just found out about the stowing away. And the cabin... No, I won't let you make excuses for me. And the cabin door was locked from the inside, okay. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? I think it was only 3 times, though. Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No, I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruto. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing techniques several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling? Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jiu-jitsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm somewhat an accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. Actually looks like he's clocking her. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let's not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruto? Sorry. As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Ah, yes. Arresting indeed. And that's what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no. That was a Susato squash. Thanks for letting me be the example here. Great, I'm just going to be on the floor for a while. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a Sagitor is more than your little regular, surely? A Japanese man's sword is the soul of my escape. It can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through. I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. An important thing he had to do? I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Well, now the story, now the game can truly begin. Getting to London and getting put on whatever cases that entails. So stay tuned for the next case, episode 3. I mean, I've talked. I was about to say that I would see you then, or talk to you then, but right, it's at the end of the case, so yeah. I think I've already told you everything I wanted to say about this, though. It's a depressing case. It all boiling down to an accident, a misunderstanding, is awful. But hey, introduction of Sholmes is important. It's nice to have a quote-unquote innocent criminal. I don't know. I mean, oh, well, actually, you know what? The first, or not the first Ace Attorney game, but the one with the circus was kind of like that too, where it was like maybe a little redeemable actual culprit, or like at least understandable actual culprit. But still, it's depressing. I mean, I guess that was kind of an accident case too, the circus one. Anyway, not to go on with other cases that have nothing to do with this one. But anyway, yeah, next time we'll be in Great Britain and we'll see our first case there. And now that we are officially lawyer, I have to tell you, the cropping and hiding things that I had to do with the thumbnails to keep Kazuma's sword out of Ryunosuke's sprite that I put in the pictures. Like, he has a sword and the little armband that he wore in all of the pictures of him. So it was quite a trick to not have that shown in the thumbnail. So now I don't have to worry about it. Now I can have him. I don't have to like put other characters beside him in a certain way to hide the sword and the shoulder strap, because now we know, okay, he's going to be a lawyer. He's basically taking Kazuma's place, and studying aboard the ship so that he can. So we'll see how well he does next time, and I will talk to you guys then. Bye.